Chris Paul has taken control of game one.
The point guard took over in game one. Do you buy CP3 as the finals MVP favorite already? And the Greek Freak is back. What grade would you give him for his return? Adam Silver is in town here in Phoenix, spoke highly of the play-in tournament. Is that here to stay? Pull up in your best ride like book. We're going to discuss it all because The Jump starts now. We are coming to you from inside Phoenix Suns Arena, where the Suns took Game 1 of the Finals last night. Game 2 will, of course, be played in this building tomorrow night on ABC. Welcome to The Jump. I am Rachel Nichols. Today, I am joined by NBA champ, co-host of All the Smoke, Mr. Matt Barnes. Thank you for being here today. And the legend, the Hall of Famer. Oh, yes.
Got to stop that.
Michael Wilbon. We just refer to him as Hall of Famer now, wherever we go.
No, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
but I appreciate it, Rich.
No, we refer him to No Pants Mike. That man's out here got his legs lotioned up. He looks good, though, everybody. This is Phoenix.
Days ago, weeks ago, I said, okay, Rach, will you tell me when you want me to join you? A couple weeks ago. So here I am, right? And you don't give me any warning that Matt is going to come on looking like he's going to a GQ shoot later today. Come on now.
You should expect this from him.
It's in PTI. We have a desk. You guys, what? You take cutting expenses? I can't get in these?
I think your shorts are lovely.
Yeah, sure you do.
And it will be a joy to talk about them and your Hall of Fame status for the rest of this show. We are also going to have Dave McMenamin join us. Robert Horry is going to be checking in from our LA studio. First, though, we got to talk about Game 1 of the NBA Finals. The Phoenix Suns getting here for the first time since 1993. They led by a combined 81 points from their big three of Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton. Teams that win Game 1 of the Finals, guys, go on to win 72% of the time. So, Mr. Wilbon, what impressed you most about the Phoenix Suns in Game 1?
You have to start with Chris Paul and just sort of setting the tone. He and Monty Williams, of course. And this is not new because they've been doing this the entire season. Focus. They don't take plays. Chris doesn't want them to take plays off it. He's gotten that over to the younger players like DeAndre Ayton. Here's what we do. Here's how we do it. We do it this way all the time. No excuses. And they played that way. Yes. They played the way they played in all but 2 games in the playoffs. And then Chris's performance. Just taking advantage of Milwaukee's. Again, I can't trust Milwaukee because I don't even know what they're doing half the time, and particularly defensively. You can't have those forwards. You have to have guards. If you're gonna switch, you have to figure out how to keep those guys out of Chris Paul's way, because he's going to torch them. I watched the game last night with Isaiah Thomas and with Avery Johnson, and it was so funny, Matt, because they're just explaining what is going to happen 8 seconds before it happens every single possession.
That's amazing.
Because they know how they were when confronted with Brook Lopez, with Tucker, with Bobby Portis. You're not stopping Chris Paul. So all of that, I guess, goes into my mix on what just impressed me last night.
Yeah, overall, Chris, very impressive. His first after 16 years finally getting here. But really, what surprised me the most is just the poise and the patience that the younger players play with. You could never tell that this young Phoenix team has never been here. They've acted like this is, hey, we're returning here like the Golden State Warriors or something like that. So really impressed with the young players, the way they came out and played. Ayton, 22 and 19. Book picked his spots. And as Mike said, after Chris's first quarter feeling out the flow of the game, he really started picking and choosing his spots and was just tearing the defense up, but also getting other players involved as well.
Well, look, we all know how smart Chris Paul is, right? So especially with the defensive switching that the Bucks were doing. And they worked on this all year, right? We saw them all season learn to switch right in front of us on the fly because it was what they were criticized for not doing the previous year. But Chris is so smart. He just picked everything apart, especially in the third quarter. So his 32 points, 16 came in that third quarter. And that's really what put the Phoenix Suns on that rocket ship to this win. You played with Chris, obviously. Yes. What is he like on the floor in those moments that he is able to be as surgical as we saw him last night?
Just he's seeing plays before they happen. And as Mike spoke with Isaiah and Avery, great point guards see the play before it happens. They know. So no matter where you're going to hide a Brook Lopez or a Bobby Portis or even a PJ Tucker on the switch, Chris is going to find them. And what I loved about it was obviously he was in his ISOs. No matter if they switched or they dropped, Chris was able to get to his spots and either put pressure by throwing lobs, finding kicking out for threes, or getting to his spots and knocking down that mid-range. And then Devin Booker followed suit. He was coming downhill off the pick and roll all night, getting to his spot and pull it up, fading away a little bit and knocking shots down.
Well, do you want to talk about the other side? Because it wasn't all bad for the Bucks last night. They got Giannis Antetokounmpo back, returning from that hyperextended knee. He scored 20 points. He grabbed 17 rebounds, 35 minutes of action, had that amazing block, right? And after the game, he was asked if his knee bothered him throughout the night. Take a listen to how he described it.
At the end of the day, I'm out there. I feel good. I don't feel pain. I can run, I can jump, I can set screens, I can rebound the ball, I can do stuff. So I'm good, I'm happy that I'm out there. At the end of the day, I haven't watched the clip, but when the play happened, I thought I'm going to be out for a year, So I'm just happy that two games later, I'm back.
It's so just striking when he says that, and you can imagine him feeling like that in that moment. Wilbon, we had Chris Bosh on the show last week, and he said he had the exact same injury, and his estimation from his own experience was that he didn't expect Giannis to be back for the entire playoffs. How would you grade his return last night?
A+. I'm grading the whole thing, the whole situation. I mean, he could have been out.
Right.
And instead, he plays 35 minutes. I mean, I realize he wasn't Giannis at his best. But the fact that he was out there and he gave them this, first of all, the Bucks have to feel so much better going into Game 2, having seen this from Giannis, this level of production. And obviously, like late in the game, it seems like he was a little gassed, and you don't know if there was soreness. Like he said, no pain. Could have been soreness. But man, for Giannis to be out there, I thought when they upgraded him from doubtful to questionable yesterday, I thought he's playing.
Yeah.
Right? And they're not going to talk him out of it. And I said I would like to see him wait till Sunday, get 5 extra days. But in talking to, again, former players, former great players, and Matt probably feels this way too, you want to play now. You don't know when this is coming back. 4 games is such a brief time, too, minimum 4, that I've totally changed on this. Giannis knew what he was doing. Other people either got out of the way or he forced them out of the way in terms of the decision making. And this is why we have people who have played in the biggest stages to listen to. Right. Because you knew how important that was to Giannis, didn't you, going in?
When I saw the injury initially, I thought he was done for the rest of the playoffs. I mean, that was a real hyperextension. And normally timetable on that is anywhere 3, 6, 8 weeks. For him to turn around and only miss 2 games, first of all, for him to come back, hats off. He's an emotional leader, and he leads by how hard he plays. Most of the time with players, and I saw this with Giannis, he was a little hesitant. I saw a little limp early in the first half, but I think that chase down block at the end of the first half proved to him that my knee is okay, because a lot of times when we coming back from knee injuries, I had one knee injury, the hardest thing to do once we're medically cleared is really trust it, especially him. He's someone who's Euro stepping from half court, dunking on people consistently, and that's the knee he's going to have to really plan on. So when he was able to hit that chase down block, I think we saw a little bit more of the old Giannis in the second half. He's putting more pressure on the defense, attacking the basket, knocking his free throws down. So I'm very encouraged about Milwaukee because he's only going to get better from here.
And look, there are different skills that different players have, right? And one skill is durability. There are guys who just are physically able to withstand more. They call him the Greek freak for a reason. Right. He is a freak of nature physically in a lot of ways, right? His size, his body type, and apparently now we've seen this with LeBron through the years too, the ability to sustain an injury and withstand it and come back a little bit quicker than others would or that we expect. The only worry I have, despite how encouraging what he did last night was, and especially as you're right, Matt, that chase down block said, oh, he's got movement too. That's good. We saw with Kevin Durant him come back from an injury because of all of that pressure that you are talking about, Mike, right? Wanting to be there for your team, knowing how rare finals appearances can be. And when one side of the body is weakened, it opens you up to other significant injuries. Do you worry about that at all with Giannis? Or do you feel like what you saw last night, he's out of the woods?
Well, I don't know if you're ever out of the woods, but Matt said something to me that is so important about the way Giannis plays. With the Euro stepping all the time and you're coming down and putting all that pressure on one leg, and you see that you're looking at it, and a couple of times last night I just sort of
cringed.
Yes. And I hope that he is through the woods. I hope that he doesn't have to worry about this anymore, because you want to see. Look, the injuries have defined the playoffs all too much anyway. These playoffs. Yep. So if you can see Giannis at as close to full strength as he can be, I think that's great for the game. It's great for people watching it, for the product, for him. For the franchise, and for all involved.
I think him in particular, because they've had some shortcomings. Obviously, two-time MVP, number one seed, fell short. They're finally here, and then he incurred a bad injury. So the fact that he's out there, obviously he's not 100%, but the fact that he's going to go down fighting, whether they win or lose, with Giannis is important to him and important to the rest of the league and for former players. Because, like I said, you don't never know when your next finals opportunity is going to come around. This is Chris's first opportunity after 16 years, so you got to cherish these moments.
And look, he's been open about the fact that he heard all of that criticism, especially after he won his second MVP. To be a back-to-back MVP, but get bounced early in the playoffs and have the guy that some other people thought should be an MVP end up winning the finals. Giannis came out and said, I don't think that this really counts until I win a title. And he earned a lot of players' respect by doing that. And you can see he wants to pay that off. All right, coming